Perfect. So I'm going to set up an EC2 instance. I'll just show you the steps to set it up. So basically, once you have an EC2 instance created, you will be provided with an IP address. So I have 3 instances which is created. Well, these 3 are my previous batch instance. This is the second batch. For this batch, I'm trying to do one more install freshly. So probably I think last week and all we talked about the basics, and we talked about the core components, and we learned what is Hadoop, and we've seen the basic architecture of Hadoop. Now today we'll concentrate on some installation part. We'll see how the installation is done, and how I will show you a couple of approaches with the install modes. Okay. Now. Initially, so Daniel, I think we are good to start, or we need to wait for more participants to join in. Anyway, but while people are joining in, these steps are basic steps on how to connect and log in. Right? So basically, I'm using my PuTTY session to connect to my EC2 instance. So how do I do that? I launch my PuTTY session. Okay. So launch, if you have a PuTTY, we call it PuTTY or PuTTY, so anything you can call it. So it's a simple downloadable file. You just need to download this, and it's just an exe file. So if you do a Google search and download the PuTTY, it will provide you with a small interface which you can use to SSH into any of the servers. So first thing is I copy this address, whatever IP address has been given to me, not the IP address, the DNS name. Now with EC2 instance, there are 2 ways to set it up. One is with public. You can you'll be provided with a public IP address and a public DNS, and then you'll be provided with a private IP address and a private DNS. And I'm sure you guys know what is a DNS and an IP address, right? So with the DNS, you'll have a fully qualified name, right? So what you see here, us-west2.compute.internal, what you see here, us-west2.compute.amazonaws.com will be considered as a fully qualified name of this instance. Right, so this is the subdomain, and this is the domain. Actual main domain is Amazon AWS. Within that you have compute subdomain and one more subdomain here. Okay, so basically, if you want to access from outside the network, outside the Amazon network, you will be using the public DNS. So I have already set up. I mean, I have already logged into my instance 1. I'm logging into my instance 2 now. So what I do, I copy this IP address or DNS name. Okay, launch a PuTTY session here, and I am copying it here. Okay, so I will be logging into this particular machine as user Ubuntu. Okay, by default Ubuntu. I mean, if you see the installations, I think I showed you in the initial session, right? So all our installations and all our practicals will be primarily be done on EC2 instance, and the version of the operating system we use is Ubuntu, and this is the latest release, or this is the actual release. So you can also see the version with multiple approaches. So you can say it's etc issue. Issue will give you what is the and there are various files available under etc which contain the host name information. So issue is one of them, and this is what is the host name, and this is the operating system and the version of operating system we are using here. Okay, now coming back to login, I'm logging as Ubuntu. Then the second thing I need to do is maybe just do a save session here. So I already have instance 1, 2, and 3. What I'm doing is I'll do a instance B2 and just name it something. So I don't need to remember all this entire name, right? So I mean, it's very difficult to remember the IP addresses. I mean, numericals is very difficult to anybody to understand and remember. So I just name it as some name. So I'm giving it as a logical name, which I'm saving in the session here. Now, another important thing is you will be provided with a key. Okay, .ppk key. So you just need to make sure that key is appended here. Okay, so you are providing that key here. Okay, so private key file for authentication. I'll tell you why that key is required. Okay, so you provide the key here and simply log in. Before that, I just change the settings here so that I can so look and feel is good. Just change. This and all is not required. If you want, you can do it. But important thing is this is the first important thing. You give the IP address here, then change this to SSH. By default, some other PuTTY configuration will have serial or R login. Change it here, so change it to SSH, and the port you always connect is SSH default port is 22. Okay, and the third important thing is auth. Okay, this is the key which I give you. So the key will already be provided for you, or you need to download the key on yourself. Now I launch this. I can load it. Okay, my B1. Oops. Oh, let not save it. This is bad. Do it again. Okay, let me do it again because I have wiped out everything what I have given there. And logging as Ubuntu at. Okay, this would be my instance B2, and this would be changed to the same key. Okay, I will do this in the same key. I need to save this session, and my session instance will come here. If I save this, I have it here. Now, whenever you log in, right, you can click on this, save load, and then open it. So even for one, I just need to change Ubuntu add so that I can log in without entering the password. Sorry, user ID. So the one which we have set up just now is instance B2, which I say load. And see, when I say load, it saved sessions changes here. See, it was earlier B1, now it is B2. If I click on B1 and say load, it will change here. The same way, I want to log into second session. I say B2 and click on load and click on open. Just accept the key. Okay, first time when you log in, it will ask you to prompt you to identify your finger authentication. Just accept it, and you are logged in. There you go. So you're logged in, and if you do ID here, ID will give you the user ID with whom you have logged in, or you can also see who am I, right? So who am I is an command, which will provide you what is user ID from which IP address you logged in with. Or you can also see some other commands like say who and W, which will give you different ways to see who logged in and identify. It's all, again, this is all Linux concepts, guys. Okay, not that important, but just I'm showing that because we got the patient to show you. So this is my second instance which I have set up now. I've set up second instance, then let me log into third instance. I will do the same steps for third instance also. Login as user and IP address. Make sure I have SSH here and port 22. Then I say instance B3 and change the auth key to the PPK. I just want to save this so that I don't have to type this all the time. Okay, this is what instance 3 is. I just say load, or I can just double click on this. Oops, I should have changed the colors and all. No worries, I can change it now also. Some people don't like black color, so people always come back and say change the color to white. That's fine. I mean, even this doesn't reflect properly. So now I'm logged in here, so I'm just going to change the colors here. I change some system settings, change the font size. And color, we use system colors, and there you go. bring this to the top of the screen. Again, I do an ID. Just want to make sure I'm logged in here as Ubuntu. And etc issue. If I see this is the host name. Sorry, this is the operating system, and there is a special particular version with which operating system I have it here. Okay. So 3 instances I have set up, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So the IP addresses, I think, is there a common IP address numeric here? So this is 99, then 237, and 102. Yeah, it's very difficult to remember these. We can look at this. If you look at private IP address, right? So this is 35. See this private IP address, 172.168.235. Then this one is 236, and the third one is 237. Okay, 35, 36, and 37, right? So 18.30. Excuse me, guys. So it's 18.235, 18.236, and 18.237. So I mean, if you set up instances on Amazon in a sequence manner, you'll get the IP addresses assigned sequentially. But yeah, that is just a trivial matter. Okay. Now, now 3 instances set up. From our initial sessions, I think I told you there are multiple ways to do the installation. One of the installation modes of one of the installation. So if you look at installation modes, primarily you can do with manual installation. Which will require a lot of understanding, and I would say manual installation would be the where you actually once you get much hands-on and much exposure, you start with manual installation. The second one is automated installation. AUTOMATED, automated installation. This is where we can do with either Cloudera one-click install, I would say, one-click install, and also Ambari. Ambari is again Hortonworks installation. Okay, so with Cloudera, what it uses is now, if you do the manual installation, every step that I'll show you right now will be a step-by-step. You need to follow each and every step, and that is for, I would say, a far advanced users. For maybe people have got some experience in installation and all, they can start using those steps. But for you to get up to speed and get up started, I would say you start with the automated installation here. Okay. So the automated installation is what is what very easier and simpler, because you don't need to know the internals, or you don't need to worry about anything. Just say I want to install, just run one script and it will do the installation for you. So all these steps are documented for you. Now if you log into the blog and if you look at the lab guides, so the lab guide is everything structured, installed, set up for you. Okay, so this is where the manual installation is. These are the steps to our manual installation. I just walked you through those also in a short while. The blog also has steps on how to set up automated installation. And there are 2 lab guides. I just show you that. So the material here. There you go. So this is Cloudera installation guide. Okay, you just open this link. I have it here already downloaded. So this is the PDF. So Hadoop administration using Cloudera. So this student guide has got every step documented step-by-step instructions on how to install using a Cloudera manager. Along similar lines, we also have something done for your Ambari installation. That is Hortonworks. Okay, so I'm sure you guys know right now. I think there are multiple vendors in the market. One of them is Cloudera, and the second one is Hortonworks. So Hortonworks and Cloudera is what we cover here. So we want to make sure you guys know the installations on both approaches, so that you can fit into any of the roles which you want to join in. Krishna, do you have a question? Please let me know.
No.
Okay, perfect. All right. I thought you were. You're about to ask something. Yeah, no issues. So guys, you're getting right. Are we on the same page? What we are doing now? Let's confirm. I mean, Shrikant, Sunny, Naveen.
Very good, Kumar.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So this one is a manual installation. We do have instructions on how the manual installation is also done and the automated installation. So Cloudera one-click install and Hortonworks installation. Hortonworks installation is documented in this lab guide. Okay. So which you will have access to once, I mean maybe later, sometime later, or after this session. Now the prerequisites are done. We have everything set up. We have 3 instances spinned up, and 3 instances is what when basically you can start with 3 instances for your learning purpose. Okay. Now when you look at installation modes, right? So Hadoop installation has multiple modes of installs. So one of them is, before I even start with the installation, let me explain this to you. Hadoop installation modes. Let me see if I have it in my PPT. Just give me a minute, guys. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, let's come here. Now, installation, primarily the prerequisites for installation would be a 32-bit or 64-bit operating system. Strictly, I think with the latest versions of CDH and Ambari, I think they request you to install with a 64-bit version. Now, what are the different ways to set up, or what are the different vendors available? The 2 vendors that we are covering is your Cloudera and Hortonworks. But yes, there is a EMC Pivotal also. EMC Pivotal is again one more distribution from a company called Pivotal. Now EMC has acquired it, and now they call it as a EMC's Pivotal. But I think it still works as a separate entity. Pivotal itself is a separate entity, but which is now under the umbrella of EMC. So I think they're coming up with an intelligent solution. I would say, I think what they're trying to do is EMC is trying to package everything on their EMC's Epsilon. So Epsilon is again one of the storage component where you have where they want to set up the name node and data node is on Epsilon and install Pivotal on that component. So that is something which EMC is working on right now, and I think they're also live on it right now. So, but it's still not as popular as Cloudera and Hortonworks. And one of the most easiest and the most popular one is Apache Hadoop. Okay, Apache Hadoop, what you do is simply download. You can go into Apache open source Apache site, and then you'll have the packages available there. You simply do a download from that location. So if you see, first one is say Apache Hadoop download. There you go. You have the version 2.7. That is the latest one. I think they released on last month. Sorry, last month, April 21st. So the current version of open source Apache is 2.7. You can simply click here. Go not here. Just go here. Source location. So you can download it as a tarball, pick up one of the mirror images and simply click on the download. So that will download you the tarball, and you just need to untar it. Okay, so when I say untar, I'm sure you guys know, right? So this is a compressed file. So this is a compressed file, and it's also an archive file. Okay, so an archive file with a .gz extension is a zip file, right? So it's a compressed file, which you just need to untar it, and which you just need to uncompress it and unpack it. Okay, as simple as you can put it as. That's with Apache installation. The next one is Cloudera distribution, which we call CDH. CDH is nothing but Cloudera distribution, including Hadoop, Apache Hadoop. Okay. Then Hortonworks is called Hortonworks Data Platform. Then EMCs is called it's called Pivotal HD. Okay, Pivotal. This is by EMC Square. Okay. Now, the second thing to consider is how many commodity hardware, okay, storage and plus compute. Now you need to evaluate, right? You need to decide on what is that your application, what is that your cluster is going to be used as. Now we talked about something called replication. Okay, so replication is what? Replication is one of the features where with Hadoop, where anything that you copy into the cluster is copied 3 times, right? Is made 3 times on the cluster. So any file, like say if you're expecting 1 terabyte of data to be coming into a cluster, then you need to make sure your cluster is big enough to hold your 3 terabyte. To hold the 3 terabyte data, because 1 terabyte is replicated 2 more times, so it is total 3x, right? So 3 terabytes. So you need to evaluate on that part. Okay. So how many data nodes you need to have? Okay, data nodes are the ones which actually does the storage part, the data nodes place, and basically we say that data nodes are the storage components, right? So where the storage happens, and that's why we say, because we have replication in place, it is assumed that these data nodes might fail. Okay, and we go for a commodity computers. Okay, commodity computers are cheaper computers. They're not cheap, but they're cheaper than your enterprise class server, but expensive than your laptops or your desktop machines. Okay, so it is assumed that these commodity computers will fail at some point of time, and for that purpose they have built in the 3x replication. So there is 3x reliability all the time, and you have a fault tolerance achieved when you have 3 copies of the same block copied 3 times. Okay. Now we need to decide on what machine would be the master and what machine must be slaves. Okay. So what is your name node? So we know what are the master daemons, right? So the master daemons are your name node and your resource manager. Okay. So initially, when you start with the initial from the beginning, if it's a small cluster, you will have both your name node and the resource manager running on the same machine, right? Then your slave, where does the slave daemons run? Slave daemons run on data node. Okay, or I would say the slave daemons are the data node and your node manager. Okay, 2 daemons. So name node and resource manager are the master daemons, and slave daemons are your data node and node manager. So you need to decide. Now I have 3 computers here. I have spinned up 3 instances. Okay, I need to decide on which one which one would be my name node and which one would be my data nodes. So in this case, I can evaluate just going with say node 1. I can take it as my master daemons, where I'll have both the masters running, and other 2 nodes I would be having as my slave daemons. But I mean, this is a small cluster, right, which I'm building right now. But in your production environment, you need to evaluate and see the configuration part here. The master daemons should have high RAM. Okay, disk is not of that importance here for on the master node. The important thing is your RAM and the type of disk. Okay, so people typically call it as RAID architecture, the RAID storage, right? So RAID is what is implemented for master daemons, and for the data nodes you talked about JBODs. So what are JBODs? JBODs are nothing but just a bunch of disks. Okay, so when you look at a computer or when you look at a server, what does it have? It should have a hard disk, right? So that hard disk for your master node should be high available. Okay, because all your master nodes metadata, right? Your cluster's metadata is stored on the master node, and if you lose that metadata, your cluster is down. Okay, you have no way to access the cluster. So to avoid losing that master metadata, what they have done is they have implemented RAID architecture there for the disk. So with RAID implemented, what will happen? Now, what is RAID? RAID is it's a redundant array of independent disks. Okay. So if you look at if you visualize your CD, you can say CD tray, right, where you put all the CDs on a single spindle. In the same way, you will have multiple disks arranged on a spindle on a RAID architecture. Okay, so you have multiple disks spinning across, and with RAID implemented, there will be mirroring happening. So whatever is being data written onto the one disk will be copied. A mirror image will be done onto a second disk. So in case a disk crashes, what you can do, you can recover the data, whatever data is written onto the disk one using the mirror image. So that's why we have we need to make sure the master is always have a RAID implemented, but we don't implement RAID for slaves. Okay, so why is that? Why we don't implement RAID for slaves? Because we already have 3x replicated. Right, data is already 3x replicated. Now, if you implement RAID, it will become 2 more times. So it's always like 6 times you're replicating the same data, which is of no use for you. Right, unnecessarily you're putting additional burden on your, additional disk space is being occupied. So avoid that. So don't use RAID there. And those configuration disks are called JBODs. Okay, just a bunch of disks. Now, coming to installation types, there are 3 types of installation. I said one is a standalone mode of installation, primarily only for development purpose. You don't use for anything, right? So standalone mode is only for development purpose, and it's just for understanding. Okay, people who are learning for the first time, they can use it for their understanding purposes. So you'll have everything installed. You'll have everything running on a single machine. Important thing to note here is there is no distributed file system. Okay, that's the difference between a standalone and a pseudo mode. Now, there is no distributed file system. Everything runs as a single process. Okay. Now, the second mode of installation is your pseudo mode. Okay, pseudo distributed mode, where a lot of POCs get done. So what is a POC? POC is again a proof of concept, right? So proof of concept, where a lot of companies, they actually want to see how your Hadoop cluster is set up and how your Hadoop cluster is performing. So this is where it's set up on a pseudo distributed mode on a single box, but on a single server you will have a distributed file system. Okay, so that's why it's called a pseudo distributed. So on a single server you have a distributed file system, that is a pseudo distributed file system, and all your processes, your name node, your slave nodes, everything, all your name node daemons, your slave node daemons, everything will be running on a single machine. Okay, so that is pseudo mode. Single box, but all processes will be independent. Simulate a cluster and test communication and other features like security, performance metrics. Okay, like for your POC issues. For your POC purposes. Now, a fully distributed cluster. A fully distributed cluster is where you have multiple boxes, like what we have in setup. Right, I have set up 3 instances. Now, I need to plan on which server will have my name node and which server will have my resource manager, and what are the nodes I will have my data nodes. Okay, so that's where you have multiple nodes participating in your cluster, and that is your fully distributed mode. So 3 types of installations. Okay, one is your standalone mode, pseudo distributed, and fully distributed. The second important thing is the type of installation, the mode of installation. One of them is automated installation and the manual installation. Manual installation is what I showed you just now. You download the package and do the installation on your own, which you can say is a far advanced thing. Once you know the in and out of your architecture, of your Hadoop, how Hadoop is working, you can start with the manual installation. But automated installation is what is a wizard based. So Cloudera provides Cloudera Manager. Then HTTP provides Apache Ambari. Okay, this is again open source. So what is this Cloudera Manager and Ambari? These are the GUI web admin interfaces. if you have ever worked with WebSphere application server, what you see is you will get a deployment manager. In the same way, it's just an admin console where you can log in and do a next. You can just run a wizard, a simple wizard. Okay, if you want to set up a new application server, what you do in your WebSphere application server or in your WebSphere administration in your manager, what you simply do is in your deployment manager, you run, say, you create a new instance and say next. In the same way here also, if you want to set up a new cluster, you just choose the name of the cluster and click on what are all the packages you have to install here. So that will be applicable for Cloudera Manager and Ambari. Okay, and all your installation, configuration, deployments, and monitoring is all automated. In the sense, everything it will already have some predefined properties which it will append or which it will apply on its own. So that we will see right now. Okay, we'll see what those properties are, and once we're done with the installation. Those are the different modes of installation, I think. Yeah. So this is what I want to tell you how we install. So let's start with the Cloudera Manager installation. So if you open this lab guide, right, it has all the details documented here. Okay, so you just need to go step by step and just follow the instructions what we're showing you now. So guys, any questions so far? Please let me know on the installation modes or installation methods.
I think Kumar.
Yes, Dimant. Is it Dimant? Shrikant. Please go ahead, Shrikant.
No, I said nothing.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm sorry, I thought I missed something. Okay, so Demant is asking how to get these instances. Demant, simply you can set up yourselves, or I would say you can reach out to Daniel, who would assist you. That is again chargeable. These instances are chargeable, so Daniel will update you on those details. Okay. Now installing CDH using CDH5. Okay, so now there are different versions of Cloudera Manager or CDH. Okay, CDH is nothing but your Cloudera distribution including Apache Hadoop. Previously they had version 4. Now the current running version is CDH5. Okay, so first step is meet the prerequisites, ensure the following are met before installing CDH5. Right? So the host in Cloudera Manager deployment must satisfy the following network and security requirements. What they're saying is make sure you have etc. There is something called etc host file, which is same across your Windows also. Right? On your Windows machine, you will have something called host file where which will be available in your system32. I think system32 bin directory or system32 etc, and you have a host or you have a conf directory there. Within that you have a host file where you can add all the entries for the different machines. So right now, if I see on my etc host file, I have it only saying it's a local host, right? It's a local host, and there is pointing to my loopback address, right? 170.0.1 is your loopback address. What I need to do, I need to edit it. When you want to edit any files, so Ubuntu is the user ID which I logged in with, and Ubuntu will have a sudo privileges. That is because, see, these are all system files. So system files have a higher privilege requirement where you need to be a root user, so super user, to make these changes. Or Ubuntu should have root privileges assigned to it to make the modifications. Now, because Ubuntu does not have those privileges, and if you go to etc, these files are all owned by these files are all owned by root. What you do is you will use sudo vi host file. So you guys are comfortable with Linux, right? Let me know if I'm going too fast on Linux. I assume you have a little bit of knowledge on Linux, and these are different commands. Okay, pwd will give you a present working directory. Now if I do sudo, so how do you open a file? Like so on Windows you just right click and open a file. In the same way on Linux you use a editor. Okay, vi is one of the popular tool, and there is also something called gedit. I'm not sure if it's installed on this gedit. Yeah, it's not installed on this machine, but gedit is one of the other popular tools primarily with Ubuntu. So by default it comes with vi. Okay, so it's a visual index editor. So open it and use vi, and I want to edit my host file. Right, I open it now. Now make an entry here. So the entry that I'm making is let me go back to the PDF here. So here what he's saying is the 3 instances that you spinned up right now, add these 3 instances, step 3 here, right? Once you get IP addresses and the details, instances. So how do you add it? So following up the private IP and edited as specified below. So add your IP address followed by the host name. So in the same way how you see a loopback address here, see you have a loopback address and the local host, which is the host name. Okay, which is local host for that particular local host. Local server. So first thing I do is on this machine, on my instance 1, I go with the private IP address. So private IP, I'm adding it here, and I'm giving a relative host name. Okay, the fully qualified name. That's the first one. The second one is this very important, guys. If you mess up here, it is going to fail. Your installation is going to fail. Okay, second IP address, then the third IP address, which is 136. Sorry, 236. Okay, now you set it up. Now make sure it is 172.31.18.235, right? 235, 237, and 236, right? So 235, 237, and 236, right? This is all set up. Make sure this is all proper. Just do a double check with your whatever instances IP or details you have got. Make sure you enter it properly. Okay, I'll tell you why I stress on it so many times, because I just explain. Now that is the first step. Now the second step is, once you are set up, this needs to be done on all 3 machines. Okay, so on all 3 machines, on all 3 instances, the same thing needs to be done. So what I do, I can just open this file. It is simply copy this entries and log into my second machine. Sudo vi etc host. And this entry is here on my second server, right? Just save it. Now how do you save on Linux? You do :wq. Okay, wq is how do you save on a VI editor, not a Linux, but I should say how do you save on VI editor? You issue the commands :wq, same as save. See, on Windows you have multiple options, right? You have a save and you have a save as. So here what it will do is it will write and quit. Okay, W indicates write and Q indicates quit. So colon is always the escape character. So you need to come out of your installation or your insert mode and start writing it. So I did an escape. I pressed my escape key. Now I'm not seeing anything on my bottom left side. So what I do, I'm right now in a different insert mode, or I can change my any mode, right? If I say I'll be in insert mode. I can start writing it now. Whatever I type here will be written here. So that one I need to come out of insert mode. You simply press escape key, okay, and colon. Come on. Okay, perfect. So colon WQ is write and quit. There's some network issue. Now this is one of my second instance. Waiting for your third instance also. EC host file, open it, go into insert mode and just copy these three instances. Set them here. And I'm saving this, write and quit. Okay, so all three instances you're set up, your step 1 is done. What you're seeing on your diagram 1, right, is done. So all three instances you do the same configuration. Now try to download this. Okay, select the instance to install CM5 package. Okay, as specified below. So how do you download this one-step installer? So you can go into let me see if I have it here readily available. To type everything. You need to download the installer. So typing everything, let me copy this. There you go. So I'll just explain this, guys. What I'm doing now. Just explain a bit. So what you need to do is you need to you need to download this binary file, right? So where is this binary file? If you go here, http latest archive.cloudera.com. Okay, so this is the binary file. Either you can click on here, it will download to your local machine, or you can directly log into your host name and you can start the installation here. So how do you by default get it here? You would get it with an utility called wget. Okay, wget, and gives the complete address. So you can just copy this here. Whatever binary file you have, copy it here, paste it here, and take the complete path. Oops, we need this wget and give it. So wget is a utility which will download your whatever HTTP URL you are giving, it will directly download onto your Linux machine. Okay, so this is exactly what we are doing here. So wget and giving the path of the binary location. So I hit enter. Okay, it's downloaded now. You can do a ls dash. Here I have binary file downloaded. Okay, now just change it to executable mode. Okay, anyone should be able to execute it. So I just want to change it to change the mode. How do you change the mode? See the permissions here. When I say executable mode, this is read, write, and read. Okay, user, group, and others for the world, right? So these are three different. Again, this is Linux concept, guys. So I'm sure you will be knowing about this. These are the permissions. I'm just telling you because we got the opportunity to see here. Now chmod 755. You can say, or we can just make it as 777. It doesn't matter. Okay. So do ls here. Choose color change, right? So this is an executable file now. Okay. So you have a binary file downloaded. Now the next one is, see, this is the binary file downloaded. Now the next one is we start with the installation. For installation, what you do, you need to run the installer as root user. Okay, that's very important. So sudo /Cloudera manager installer bin file. Okay, I hit enter. It is prompting me to saying that now it is saying that this is the first screen you will get. Okay, where it says that accept. This is a wizard. Okay, like the Cloudera Manager 5 installer wizard. On the left side, you see this one. It says it's a CM5, which is the latest version, and this is the installer. So you simply say next. You can play around with your keys, arrow keys. So if I say left, and it will just move around, the cursor will move. So now click on next or hit enter, and here is where you just accept the license, right? So Cloudera itself has multiple packages available. So Cloudera Enterprise and Cloudera Express license. So Cloudera Express is something which is freely, which you can download for free initial purposes. I say next, accept the license. And now is important. Now it's where it's saying that it will download the Oracle's JDK, right? The Java is important because your Hadoop is entirely a Java packaged application, right? It's purely based on Java, so you need to have Java installed. So by default, Cloudera installs Oracle's JDK. Accept the license for Oracle. Now it says it is building the repository. So installing JDK here. This might take some time depending on the. Anyway, this is directly being done on EC2 instance, so they should be going faster than expected. Let me close my instances which I don't need. While this installation is happening, I don't need this also. Just want to close unwanted windows. So I have my 3 instances here. This is my second instance and my third instance. Right. So my first instance is where I'm setting up my Cloudera Manager. It's installing now. It's installing the database. So I'll explain that what this database is. Right. So Cloudera Manager itself is a client-server architecture. Okay. See, what we are doing is we are now installing a Cloudera Manager. We are not installing the actual Hadoop. Okay. We are only installing Cloudera Manager. Okay. There you go. So now it says that your Cloudera Manager is installed. Okay. You can access the GUI admin using this IP address or this host name. So this is accessible on port 7180, okay, and localhost. So let me open that. Just say OK here. Installation was successful. Okay. So now I know what the host name. The host name is. I need to take the public IP address. Colon 7180. Oops. Daniel, can you change the configuration? I think is not accessible. The network configuration need to be changed. See, what's happening here is because these are EC2 instances. So if I can do a ping to that machine here, it does pingable. It is pinging. Now if I do a telnet, telnet is not installed on my machine. So what I can do is, how do I know if this port is? See, what's happening is the port is not accessible now. So how do I know the application is running or not? I can simply do ps grep process name therefore Cloudera. Okay, oops, CLVDERA. So there you go. The Cloudera Manager is running up and running. Okay. I know this process is up, so it is indicating it's a Cloudera Manager is up. But the problem is it's not allowing me to access it. Now let me clear this 1 second. Okay. So if I know now if I want to see what's happened is it's asking me to log into Cloudera Manager, but I'm not able to log in. Okay. Now how do you identify what the issue is? Now I'm sure that my installation was successful. My Cloudera Manager installation was successful, but I'm still not able to log in. So what do I do? Preliminary checks for you would be to make sure your process is up and running. That's what your ps-grep will indicate. Okay. grep will indicate your Cloudera manager is up and running. That's fine. Now the second one is let's look at the log files. Var log. Okay, all the log files will be under var log. In here you will have something called Cloudera SCM server. Okay, you have Cloudera SCM server here. So this is created by the user Cloudera SCM. So if I do a sudo cd SCM server. I can just do a sudo right. Sudo, you need to open up this file. What I'm trying to do is sudo su. Is a root also. So var log is where I am in now. So within that var log, I have Cloudera SCM server. So I'll go inside Cloudera directory, SCM server directory. Okay. I do an ls-l, and here is where my log files are. Okay. So just I'm trying to see if there's anything error message being logged in my log file. So this is where you by default you will have your Cloudera by default will install here. Okay, initially it will install. You can change it later if you want, but by default it will be under var log, and you'll have root access. You need to have root access to access it. So let me open this file. Okay, come down to the bottom, and here I don't see any error message. Okay, I don't see any error message. It just no errors, no exceptions, and everything is good. So that's an indication that my installation is good, and my I don't have any issues with the installation. Now I come out of this, exit out of this, and the next way to validate or verify if this process is running or not on listening on the port is do a netstat. Netstat -an, and then pipe grep for 7180. Okay, very good. So this is off. This is out. So if you happen to be within the network, okay, if you happen to be within the network, within internal network to Amazon EC2 instance, you should be able to access it. But it's not accessible from outside the internet or internal network to your EC2 instance. Okay, this is one way to verify your port is up. 7180 is the port which I'm trying to access right now. Right? So this is, okay, there you go. I think it's already started. So this is a port. Now this port is up. Okay, so this port is up and it's established connection. My connection is already established here. Okay, I think it just took a couple of minutes to refresh and then make my connection established. Okay, and anyway, it's good that we saw what to troubleshoot in case you are having these issues. Right? I mean, people will generally have these issues. The second one to verify if this port is up or not is use telnet. I'm not sure if telnet is there. Yes, telnet is here on this machine. So do a telnet to that host IP address, same IP address or the DNS name I'm using. Oops. And do the port 7180. Okay, so it needs to log in. So this is connected now. If you have this port not up and running and this is not reachable, you will not be able to connect. So if you are connecting, that means it's an indication that it is up and running, and you should be able to access your application on that port. Now I know my preliminary checks are done. I will try to access it now. Okay, I go here and see. If it is still not accessible, that's where an indication that there's some problem in the network. Okay, in this case it is accessible, so I'm good. Okay, anyway, good that you saw the troubleshooting step, because a lot of people complain about this issue especially with the EC2 instances. Now if you remember a couple of minutes back, once it said it asked me to log in with this port 7180, okay, on this port, and it has also given me instructions to log in as admin and user ID admin and a password as admin. Okay, so which is what I would just use now. So log in with admin, and this password is also same admin. Say login here, There you go. So this is the first initial screen you'll get where you have you need to choose which version of Cloudera Manager to install. Okay, so which edition do you want to deploy? Just go with the free Cloudera Express. So different editions apply. I mean, different versions of Cloudera are available. Okay, so primarily you're going with a freeware, and that is your Express. I mean, it's a Cloudera Express, and Enterprise Data Hub edition is something which I think again these offer as a trial edition, right? So you can do it for 60 days, and this is a subscription with Enterprise Cloudera Enterprise. I mean, when your company purchases license, then only you go with the Enterprise. Okay. Various features available with free version. I think the node limit, earlier the node limit was about 20 nodes. You cannot have more than 20 servers added into the Cloudera Manager, but now I think they have made it unlimited now. And various features, right? Other features which are available, you can see here. So what we are doing is going with the Cloudera Express. Say continue. And the installer will install Cloudera Express and enable you to choose packages. So what are the packages you can choose? All these packages, right? Your Apache Hadoop, your HBase, your Zookeeper, Oozie, Hive, all these packages can be downloaded and installed. Now, what are these packages? These are all your ecosystem projects. Right? So now, if you step back a little bit and see what is Hadoop, Hadoop is nothing but your HDFS plus MapReduce, right? Only HDFS and MapReduce will not accomplish all your real-world problems, or will not solve all your real-world problems or real-world application use cases. So what they come up with is different projects surrounding your HDFS and MapReduce, which we call it as ecosystem projects. So your HBase, your Oozie, Hive, Flume, Centric, Scoop, everything is Spark and all is a different components of your Hadoop ecosystem. So in total, all this together is called as a one Hadoop ecosystem. Now, Cloudera Impala is something which is a licensed specific edition or a licensed application from Cloudera. It is similar to your massive parallel processing database, right? If you heard of Greenplum, which is an MPP model, in the same way, I mean, again, it's a Postgres database, right? So Greenplum, in the same way, it's also a MPP, right? It's a massive parallel processing database. Then Q is again one of the open source tools which Cloudera is leveraging more, where you can simply log into Q as an interface and you can access any of your applications, okay, any of your ecosystem components, your HBase, Zookeeper, anything. Click on continue. Here is where you need to give the host names. Okay, the host names is where, I mean, you need to specify the host for your CDH installation. So what are different hosts I have? I will go and give, because this is internal to the network, I will give it the private IP address. The first host, separate by comma, 235, and I give 236. Simply copy from here. And the third one is 237. Okay, 3 different hosts I have set up, and I'm doing a search on these 3 hosts, trying to see if these are accessible. Yes, perfect. The hosts are accessible. Okay, it says when currently managed is what? Currently managed in the sense, or these hosts, does these hosts have Cloudera installed or not? We don't get PuTTY package. We don't get PuTTY with this package. Yes, I mean, you have an option to choose them going inside. Okay, you can install PuTTY also. So I mean, these are just the components which I just showed. I think PuTTY is there. Yes, PuTTY is there. You can choose with PuTTY also. Continue. Okay, now installation modes. Okay, how Cloudera calls them is, see, Cloudera recommends use of parcels for installation or packages, because parcels enable Cloudera Manager to easily manage the software in a cluster. Now there are 2 ways to install your packages. Okay, whatever. So if you see your package, when I say a package, if you want to install anything, what you do, you simply download a zip file, or you download a binary file or executable file. or a .msi file and run it. In the same way, Cloudera also provides two modes of packages. One is a package, the second one is a parcel. Okay, so starting version 4.5, I think Cloudera calls them as parcels, and that is what they recommend to install. Select the version of CDH. You can go with either now CDC. Different things, guys. One is the Cloudera Manager is completely different. Okay, Cloudera Manager is different from CDH. Okay, CDH you can install without Cloudera Manager also. Okay, so the version of Cloudera Manager can differ, and the version of CDH can also differ. Okay, CDH is the package, right? CDH is the package. Okay, you know what they're saying here is versions of CDH that are too new for this version of Cloudera Manager. Okay, fine. So CDH can also be installed without a Cloudera Manager. That is your manual installation. But yes, CDH is different and Cloudera Manager is different. That's why you'll see a version mismatch. Okay, so Cloudera Manager, they say it's about 5.4 is what the latest one is. Now CDH is 5.4.2. Okay, and can also work with 4.7, the previous version of Cloudera Manager, CDH. Okay, now additional parcels that you want to install. Okay, like all these parcels, like say Accumulo, Kafka, these are all specific to your Cloudera. Okay, Cloudera's implementation. See, basically what these companies do is, I mean, a lot of these vendors we are talking about, Cloudera or Hortonworks or PuTTY, right? What they do is they take your open source Apache. Okay, they take the open source Apache or HDFS and Hadoop, your Hadoop and MapReduce, Hadoop, okay, that is your HDFS plus MapReduce. Take those packages, okay, nicely wrap it around and wrap it around with its own packages and its own ecosystem products, and roll it out to you as an offering. Okay, it's a simple thing. So had they not combined all these packages together, I need to download Hadoop first, which is your HDFS and MapReduce. Then I need to download my, let's say one of your demons was asking about Pig. So I had to download Pig also. Pig, I had to download Scoop, I had to download Flume, I had to download Hive separately and then configure them. So instead of doing so many configurations and so many times downloads, what they have done is they simplified the process for you and simply giving it to you as a package, and that package or a parcel you can just install on your own. So just go with the default options here. Don't change anything. You can change this later also. Say continue. So JDK is important here. Okay, so Oracle is saying, it's asking you to install Oracle on all the machines. Okay, on all the machines. So accept your JDK license. Okay. Now enable single user mode. You can just don't go with the single user mode. Just say continue. Now here is where very important thing. Okay, an important thing to note here is you need to set up a credential. So everything we are installing as a root user, right? All the installation that we are doing is as a root user. Now what they're saying is this root user should have access to all the machines, right? This root user should be able to access all the machines without, should be able to SSH, because from your host machine you are installing, or from your Cloudera Manager you are installing on all other machines, right? So use root user, or you can use a different user also with a sudo passwordless SSH, or basically you choose with root only, and all hosts accept the same password. Either you use the same password or the same private key. Now private key is something which you need to set up. If you don't want to set up, what I can do is I can just go here. Now I'm on host 1, right, 235. You go here. I'm logged in as ID root here. Oops. ID root. I can do it. Password change here. Write the password. It will ask me to enter the new password. Because I have not set up any password here, I'm just changing the password. Change the password. It's updated. Set the same password across all the instances. Make sure you set the same password across all 3 instances. Okay, so you set up all 3 instances, same password. Now just do an SSH and see if you can access those machines. GC host. So SSH to your second machine. Identify it. It says for denied. Oh, this is EC2 instance, right? So it won't allow you to log in as a user. Okay, let's do this. Generate a private key. Sudo. You're already with root. So SSH -keygen. User type is RSA key. Okay, and -p. Just do this empty here. So don't create any enter. Just so this is where we are generating a private key and a password, private key and a public key. Okay. Now where is it generated? It is generated in .sh file. Folder. Okay. So if I do ls, I'm not seeing anything here. If I do ls dash, why is that? Because it's a hidden file, hidden directory. So to open up hidden directories, you use ls dash la cd to .sh. Okay. Here is where you have your private key and a public key, right? So this is your private key and this is your public key, right? Now what I need to do is open up this private key. So if I say accept the private key, the password, so the private key, right? So ID, opening up the private key, just make an entry because it will ask you to local file system. Just copy this, make an entry on your local file system. And one more notepad. You already have it here. Okay, let's do this. This is not required anyway. So let's copy it here. Save as, just view it as desktop, and on your desktop you're just naming it as instance v1. Okay, so it doesn't matter the extension, just say instance v1. It's saved here. Now next important thing you need to do is you need to set up a passwordless entry. So how do you do that? You open up your public key. The entry is in here, right? So this one, copy it, and you log into your second host. Where am I right now? If I log in as root .sh. Here we have authorized keys. Just do a vi of authorized keys. Append it. Okay, so the public key I have appended here. I'll just show you what will happen now. Do the same thing for your third host also. cd2 .sh, authorized keys, and open it, append here. Okay, now if I do SSH, let's see if this is going to work. Yeah, SSH to my host. There you go, you logged in. Okay, see what I've done is I have generated a private key. Okay, I have generated excuse me guys. I have created a RSA key. Okay, I have generated an RSA key. What it will do? It will create a public key and a private key. So the one ending with ID underscore RSA is a private key, and the one ending with ID underscore RSA.pub is a private key. Okay, now we have a private key and a public key setup. Now how do you do handshake, right? So for anyone to establish communication with any of the server, what you need to do is you need to have a private key and a public key combination. This is the key pair, and this public key you distribute to the public. Okay, your private key is private to you. Okay, like your private thing, right? So it's a private to you. Your private key you are not distributing to anyone. Now your public key is distributed across all your many different people. Now anyone who has got a public key, okay, anyone who has got a public key can access this private. They can authenticate saying that I have got your public key. Can I authenticate to you? Okay, so in the same way, your root machine, where your primary machine, where you have your private key, can log into any of the machines that has got a public key installed. Okay, without prompting to password. So you can see that, right? Earlier, without my private key setup, when I tried to log in, it said, where is that? It said permission denied, right? There you go. It says permission denied. Okay, public key permission denied. So to avoid that, now I can log into any machine. Now let me come out of this. Exit. So 235. From 235, I logged into 237. Let's try with 236 also. This first time I'm connecting, it's asking for me to authenticate, establishing the authenticity, and I'm logged in now. Okay, 236. So from 235, I'm logged into 236. So this is one of the important steps you need to set up before you run your Cloudera manager. Now the private key that I have created right now, choose the private key. Private key I have set up on what is the private key I set up? Batch 2, right? This is the one I set up? Yes. Batch 2 is the private key. Open it. Right? Batch2.txt. Now, passphrase I have not given anything. You can validate that here. I have not given any passphrase, right? So this here I did not give anything. So you also don't give anything because you might have a tendency to forget the passphrase. So just hit enter at this point of time, right? So once you create a key gen, it is generating a public private key. You just hit enter here. Okay, you don't give any key. So I'm leaving this as blank. Say continue. Okay, continue with no passphrase. Say okay. Now it's trying to install. There you go. So it says installation failed to authenticate. Why is that? Okay, this is because, let's see the details here. No provider available for unknown key file. So that key file I've given, I think I'm not given the right key file. Did I give the right key file?
I think it's bundled to called it something bundle V2.
Oh yeah, this is the one, right? Yeah. So instance V1, right? This is what I have given. So not a batch 2. So yeah, thanks. Good catch, Srikanth. Just let me double verify that. 1 second. So what I have in this here is let me do a catch. Don't open this. Okay. So the chances that it might get corrupted if you open it. So this is a key. I mean, it's very difficult to understand these lines also, right? So just let me double verify that. Batch. No, sorry. So instance, right? Instance B1 is what I created. Right, there you go. It's the same thing, right? Just make sure it's the same key. We can look at the last line and the first line. Right, so the same thing. So the same thing what is pointing here. Perfect. So come back here. Just go back. I choose the proper instance. Root again. Leave your passphrase blank. Okay. Oops. Why is it failed on first one? Oh, okay. I need to add it for the first machine also. So you got it, guys. So you got right what's happened here. The first machine itself is not authenticating to itself. Okay, though it's a machine itself, it is trying to do an SSH. When it does an SSH, a new shell will be created, and that has failed. Okay, see, I have copied the private key, the public key in both these machines, but to the machine itself I have not done. Okay, I'll just show you that part now. Now this is now successful. It is continuing with these two installations. Let's try with this part also. Okay, let's fix the first one also. So what happened is, this is the IP address of this host machine, right? This is a private IP address. And if I do a SSH to this private IP address, okay, it says it's full. Oh, okay. So it's dot. I can simply copy from here, right? Instance 1. Yes. Now it says permission denied. Okay, so how do you fix it? Simple. Just do a cat of your ID dot pub and append it into your authorized keys. Okay, now if I do same thing, SSH. There you go, you logged in, right? So just going to exit, and now come back to your Cloudera manager and do a retry this one. Now it's copying now. So what's happening here is, from the Cloudera manager, it's trying to package, right? Download the packages onto all other machines. Okay, see, it's installing Oracle. Okay, Oracle, the JDK. The JDK is important first thing. So it's installing JDK on this machine itself, and it does the same thing on all other machines. Then it's installing the Cloudera Manager Agent package, right? So what is the agent package? So as I said, Cloudera Manager itself is a server agent communication. So Cloudera Manager is a server, and on each of the hosts there should be an agent package installed. So the agent, so that's how the communication happens. So the nodes, on what all nodes you want to have Cloudera installed, the nodes and the Cloudera Manager talk via your Cloudera agent and the Cloudera server. So do I continue here? Now it is started the downloading and it will distribute it now. So this will take some time, but you're almost set now. So all your issues should be resolved by now. Okay, everything should be resolved. You should be, now it's downloading the actual packages. Once it downloads it distributes to all other machines. Okay, distribute and unpack. So your tarballs, your compressed files will be distributed, and it needs to be unpacked and then installed. Install is nothing but your activation. Because this is happening on EC2 Amazon instances, it should be quicker and it should be faster. I think we are running out of time now.
So Kumar, we haven't made it master or slave elements yet, right?
Exactly. We have not done any master or a slave. The next step, the logical step would be to see, to set up any master or a slave, you need to have Cloudera or you need to have Hadoop installed first of all. Okay, irrespective of what this machine is, whether it's a client machine, whether it's a master machine, whether it's a slave machine, you need to have Cloudera CDH installed on all the machines. Once we have CDH installed, the next logical step is to decide which of them is a master and which of them is a slaves. So this is what referring to 3 different machines, right? The status of each machine, 1, 2, and 3. It just shows up here. Come on. 2 machines done. So guys, any questions so far? Anyway, this is being recorded, so in case you have any questions or doubts about any step, you can feel free to go back to the recording and look at that. But in general, if you have anything, please let me know. Perfect, it's all unpacked on all the machines. So you download onto one machine, from there it distributes to all 3 machines. From there it unpacks it, and then you install it. Unpack and untar and install, right? So similar steps. Perfect. So there you go. So you have continue. So this is where it takes inspecting the host check, right? So you can skip this. What it takes is it's checking to see whether all its, various checks, okay, like say inspect all 3 hosts. Now it says Cloudera recommends proxies 5 minutes to add more. You can ignore this part, okay, because it's a simple cluster. You can ignore this, and here is what the summary is. Okay, so here is what you have cluster 1. On all 3 instances, what all is installed, and this is what is downloaded. Okay, you can say finish here. Now you come with the cluster setup. Okay, so here is where daemon you can choose which of the packages you want to install. Right, so yes, pig is not here by default, but you can still install it separately because it's a different package. Maybe because this is a freeware, right? So I think pig is not coming here. Okay, so by default I can choose core Hadoop. So core Hadoop is MapReduce. These are all the core things. And if you want with HBase, with Impala, all these things packages are all available. And if you want everything, you can do all services. So I'm just going with the core Hadoop install. Say continue. Now this is where you're selecting what host will be what. Okay, so your 35 is main node, and your secondary node, your balancer, okay, HTTPS, and if you want to have it, okay, this is what will give you a graphical representation of what has been by default selected. Okay, so these are all the different roles for different machines. I can just leave it as blank and as a default and say next. Now all these things, don't change anything, just do a test connection here, okay, and click on continue. Don't change anything, just all default configuration things. Daniel, can you let the other group know that we might be delayed by a minute or 2? We're having 5 minutes. Okay, just take 5 minutes additional time.
Sure, I've just postponed it by another 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Fine. Yeah, thank you. Perfect. So we are choosing what machine will go with what component, and you're just saying continue. This is going to take some time, and guys, everything is documented here. Everything, all the step-by-step instructions. Okay, you don't need to worry about missing out anything. You just need to go through this document, or also you can just do a playback of the recording. Important things are the first things, right? Initial, make sure the hosts are all properly configured and the hosts are all accessible, and it is there in etc host, and also your SSH keys. Okay, SSH key is very, very important. Primarily, without that, you have seen the failures, right? So that's very important. And if you have your basics covered, right? If you have your basics covered, the rest all should be smooth process for you. I would say it's good that something broken with the installation. You've got to know what are the different issues and how you can fix them. Okay, so yeah, it's starting now. It's starting with installation now. Now it is started with the starting those services, whatever has been installed on different machines. So what basically we have done is we have we have copied all the packages, okay, your CDH parcel into all the machines, okay, onto all the machines. Now among all the machines, you are choosing which of the servers should run on with what services. Okay, that's what is this step is right now. This step is going with starting those services, only those particular services on these machines. Yeah, so there you go. This is the step we are on. We are on page 11, I think. Yeah. So close to setup. Once you are done with this, you should see a congratulations message indicating this is complete. Okay, so any questions so far? I think it's going to take some time. No questions. I think we should be good. Or just give 2 more minutes, so we'll see if this completes. Within 2 minutes. It is where it is creating your meta store, okay, for file. Okay, now you might have a question why this database is required. So that is something which we'll cover maybe in advanced sessions. Why this database is required for Hive, and you see the same database being created for Scoop and all. Okay, Uzi will also require a database, and by default these all will be using a Derby database or Postgres. Okay, so we'll explain to you why these databases are and what these databases are when we do advanced sessions on these ecosystem projects. Trading Hive warehouse directory. Let's give a minute. Maybe Daniel, when you post this video, maybe you can cut this and just do a fast forward of here, so that you don't. I mean, we don't spend additional time. So almost done. 15 steps completed, 23 out of 23. Just a few more steps. So if you look at from the top to bottom, so this is what it's saying: deploying client configuration, then Zookeeper service. So Zookeeper is something which we'll talk when we talk about HA. Then the directories, right? So checking if the name node directories, so the name node are empty, formatting HDFS only if empty, right? So initially, when you, okay, let's say formatting, like when you purchase a new machine, what do you do? Right? I mean, even for your servers, right? When the first install, the first thing they do is they obviously format it. So why is formatting required? Formatting is required because it will create various partitions, okay, various table spaces, everything inodes are all created. So the same way we need to format your HDFS also. So first time when you're installing, you need to, absolute important thing is the format. DFS should be, your distributed file system should be formatted. Okay. And it's also making sure that your format is done only if empty. That means if there might be see, let's take for example your any pen drive. When you do a format, what does it do? It will wipe out everything. It will warn you that some data is there. Do you still want to format? The same thing it is checking. It is making sure that your HDFS is empty and then going and formatting it. booting steps complete. 4 more to go. Okay, this is the easy step. Then let me quick start queue, and then finally we'll work on management service. Starting with the
Okay, guys, as we wait for Kumar's installation to get completed, I just want to make one announcement over here. We will be resuming our class from Wednesday. Tomorrow there will be this thing, no class tomorrow, as it has clashed with one of Kumar's session. So instead of tomorrow, we'll be taking up the cover up class on Friday instead. Okay. And in addition to that, you guys should have the access to the classroom block latest by tomorrow morning, if not tonight. So I will have a check over here at our backend team and make sure that you have the classroom block where you can get all the installation instruction along with the recorded videos. All right? Thank you.
Perfect. So we're almost done. The last final stage. Now the Cloudera management service being started. This is where, I mean, you can look at the details also. I want to look at the service, what all those things are getting started. Just click on that link and it will show you the starting your publisher, post monitor, everything on almost all the machines. So we're all set to use the Cloudera manager now, or in the sense your cluster is ready. There you go. Perfect. So you say continue. You get a congratulations message. You're all installed, configured, and running on the cluster. Just do a finish here. So close some unwanted sessions. If you ignore this right now, I mean, you can just for now just ignore it. So you have all your machines, I mean, all your setup, all your hosts, or all your packages have been installed. Your HDFS, your YARN, your Hive, Hue, Uzi, all your various components have been set up and installed right now. So this is the first time it is having some issues with the stop and start. So let's stop everything. We'll do a simple stop. Or I think we should have given it a couple of minutes to start it. While this happens, I had a question, Demon, how can we add a service? So if you go here to cluster here, click on this cluster and click on add a service. You can always add a service, okay? This will give you service wizard, okay? So here you can choose what all packages are available and you can install them. There you go. You don't need to restart actually because it's already, I think it just took some time for the host monitor to get the status. But basically we have everything up and running and I mean, we just had to wait for a couple of minutes and then it will have turned into green. Now because we're stopping it, it is actually stopping here. Okay, stop is showing in the stop status. Now what we have done is we did a stop from the top level. You can also do individual stop and start. Okay, you can do from stop here. You can, if you want to stop only HDFS, yes, you can do the stop here. If you want to do only a few services, so that is useful when you make any configuration changes for your HDFS or your Hive, your Scoop, any of these changes. You make any configuration changes, so that's where you can use the individual stop start. Okay, so we should be good now. I think restore is complete. So just stopping it now and start. It will take almost again 2 more minutes to start it. But we are almost done with the entire setup, and we have seen from the end to end. We have seen now what are the different installation modes, and we are done with the Cloudera installation. Okay, so that would be the end of the session. We want to take a logical conclusion from now. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you have more questions, then thanks guys. Thanks for your time, and let's have a great night, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.